So hey everybody, I'm Mike Volpe here from HubSpot. I'm here with Dennis Crowley, he's one of the co-founders of Foursquare. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Really excited to be here. We wanted to talk a whole bunch of things. Why don't you first tell everybody, not everyone yet maybe knows what Foursquare is, so tell everybody what it is.
Yeah, so we're trying to make things for mobile phones that make cities easier to use and more interesting to explore. And people generally use Foursquare to check in. You check in at your favorite bars and restaurants and coffee shops and pizza places. And when you check in, we tell all your friends where they can find you. And we also, share the types of places that that you go with your friends. Then we've got this layer of game mechanics on top of things that rewards people for doing interesting things. So we're trying to encourage people to go to restaurants they haven't been to or to hang out with people they haven't met before. And we use badges and points and mayorships to do a lot of that.
So we actually ended up connecting because we were both at the Red Sox game last night, which, by the way, even though Foursquare is in New York, you're originally from the Boston area and you're a big Red Sox fan, which is great.
From Medway, Mass, representing.
Yes, we love Red Sox fans at HubSpot, Boston-based company. And so it was through a combination of Twitter and the being up on the big screen at Fenway Park, and MC Hammer also retweeted my message. So I don't know. Yeah, I'm sure that probably helped add a little bit of legitimacy. Okay. So you get to follow MC Hammer in terms of being made more famous by a HubSpot video. Awesome. So what was it like being on the big screen at Fenway?
I barely saw it. I was actually getting drinks for me and my sister.
Okay.
And someone said, watch on the fifth inning, and I'm walking by and I turned around and it's like, Fenway Park welcomes Foursquare and Dennis Crowley.
Yeah.
Which is great. I wanted to get a picture of it, but I was about 2 seconds too slow.
I'm going to bet somebody somewhere got a photo of it.
Someone said they have one, they're going to send it over.
Yeah, exactly. That's really cool. Now, you guys did something really cool at South by Southwest.
Yeah.
So we talked to a lot of marketers about how to take advantage of events and in-person events, and you guys basically took some chalk, bought a ball, and drew out like a Foursquare court and just started playing Foursquare. So what was sort of the genesis behind that, and what was that like as sort of to get some activity and some marketing in an event?
We were so busy leading up to South by Southwest that we didn't really have a lot of time and resources to put into a marketing plan.
Yeah.
So we grabbed a bunch of Foursquare balls and we went down to Austin and we said, let's play here, and we'll bring a bunch of T-shirts out. And this is you'll come here to get pins and stickers and T-shirts and I bet we had a couple thousand people stop by. And it was awesome because you play a game of Foursquare with them that lasts 30 seconds, but you meet the users, they get to meet you, they tell you about what's great and what sucks, and it's a great, very low maintenance way to interact with users.
Right.
Totally accidental, worked out great.
And you had to run to a drugstore or something just to pick up the supplies on your way there. It wasn't like the big corporate trade show booth down there. It was like this really cool experience.
Really super guerrilla. So
I think we wrote a blog article about it. I think we called it the $5.99 trade show booth. Yeah, exactly.
That was a great piece. We got a lot of traction.
Yeah, no, we did. It was cool. We had a lot of fun with that. Now, you guys have announced recently some new tools to kind of allow businesses to see who's checking in most frequently at their business, and that stuff seems to be starting to roll out. What's the plan for a lot of that stuff? Because we have a lot of business owners that read our blog. What's on the business side of things? What's the plan there?
Yeah, well, I think venue owners are super supportive of Foursquare users.
Yeah.
And a lot of these folks, it's about 2,000 of them now, giving away free coffee and free pizza and free hot dogs or free dinners, whatever it happens to be, simply for participating in Foursquare. And for the venues, they get to see these are our best customers, or these customers are duking it out. And I actually think there's a lot of one person choosing to go to one place over another place simply because they want the points and the badges or to regain their membership. So we've been building tools that allow some of the venue users to look at the stats. These are the people that are coming here are the best customers. And maybe give them other tools to proactively reach out to those customers and thank them and reward them for showing up.
You earlier today on the panel, you talked a little bit about how it's almost like having marketing analytics, but for your local location.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Which I think is an interesting way you can understand knowing how many people come to your website, but to know how many people are coming in and checking your business is really cool too, right?
Yeah, and we show these stats to people and they're like, these are fantastic. Right? Of course, the businesses have a general idea of, Thursday's better than Tuesday.
Sure.
We generally have a rough idea of the male-female ratio. Yeah. But we can give them tools specific that say, these are the Foursquare people. These are the social media nerds that love checking in here, love talking about your venue.
And also probably some sense about, which of those customers actually have, maybe a larger network of friends, and might be more of the influencers that they might even want to target.
Yeah, we're able to pick some of those folks out. These guys, these particular users always send their updates to Twitter, always send them to Facebook, and they have lots of followers. So maybe, does that mean that they're more valuable than other users? I don't know. But we think we can do some experiments to figure that out.
Yeah, cool. That's really interesting. So today, I understand that you guys are planning to roll out a lot more tools for businesses in the future. But today, today, for those of us reading the HubSpot blog right now,
Sure.
what are the things that a business can do today if they want to get involved and use Foursquare more to kind of promote their business?
Yeah, the best thing and the easiest thing to do is just sign up to get a Foursquare special. You can go to foursquare.com/businesses, and once you do that, you can submit a special. Like, hey, you want to give away a free cup of coffee? You want to give away, a free sandwich to the mayor? And we have all these basic rules. What we're working on now are better tools to help merchants do this, to walk them through the process, to help get things set up, so we can get out of the way of it. Like, we're the bottleneck here. And those tools should be launching pretty shortly.
Okay,
so
cool.
I've been out of New York for a week, and I expect to go back tomorrow and see a lot of the stuff up and running.
Fantastic. Great. So that's foursquare.com/businesses.
Yes.
And that's how you sign up to do a special. And you're thinking obviously about a lot more tools for businesses over time.
Yeah, that's really, those are fun things for us to build, because we're building tools for businesses, but at the same time, like those businesses are using those tools to reward users. We used to always joke around with Dodgeball, like, if we could just get one person a free drink, that'd be amazing. And now, like, we're doing it all the time, all over the world. So we're really
fantastic.
About
that's really cool. Yeah, you should be psyched about it. Maybe one other question is, there's a lot of examples there that you've been talking about that are really good for B2C businesses, especially local kind of retail, restaurants, bars. What about more boring B2B businesses? We're a software company. We have lots of avid Foursquare users. What are some of the ways that a B2B company should think about using Foursquare?
It's tough, like we have our head wrapped around the B2C stuff so tightly that sometimes it's it's like dealing with certain brands that, like, there's not a good fit immediately, and you really have to chip away at it to figure out what it is. And I think just the B2B space is a lot like that as a whole. Like, we haven't given it much thought, so we don't have like specific products tailored to that. But it's one of these things that, like, as the product evolves and as the platform starts to mature, I really expect some of the API developers to be building things on top of it.
Okay, interesting.
I would not be surprised to see a whole secondary marketplace of tools pop up, like businesses selling Foursquare tools built off the API to other businesses.
Okay, interesting. Interesting.
We'll
Okay,
see
cool.
if that gets
So definitely sort of a trend to pay attention to and watch. We've seen a lot of B2B companies start to use it for like events and trade shows and like local user groups and things like that, and have people obviously check in those types of locations, which is interesting. But obviously sort of a similar use case to the B2C.